Welcome to the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me. If it's hats, beards, glasses, and almost incomprehensible dialect you're into, well, then you should check out the Whiskey Lock. But otherwise, you've come to the right place. No, you should actually check out the Whiskey Lock anyway. Great content, great channel, always worth checking out. Welcome indeed to the Whiskey Novice. Saying as we're here, let's look at some whiskey. I'm going to start a new series. This is review number 188. And I'm going to look at some, and I originally, in my head, I called this cheap blends. Let's look at some cheap blends. But the word cheap does just that. It cheapens the thing. I don't like to use the word cheap. Then I went with supermarket blends. Let's say supermarket blends, but what's in your supermarkets and what's in our supermarkets could be two totally different things. Let's just say inexpensive blends. All right? And even still, I mean, what's inexpensive to me might not necessarily be inexpensive to you, but these are inexpensive to me currently. There isn't a blend in this series that cost me any more than £25. So everything came under £25. Some of them coming quite a bit under £25. There you go. Review number 188, Johnnie Walker Black, the 12-year-old Black. There you go. I looked into it first and said, you know, let's face it, it's a blended Scotch. What's a blended Scotch? Well, it's a blend of malt and grain whiskies. This one, a blend of, first I looked into it, over 29 I think was the way it was put, malt and grain whiskies. And then I read somewhere else it was about 40 malt and grain whiskies. Now, this is Diageo, okay? Johnnie Walker, Diageo, an awful lot. They own an awful lot of distilleries, an awful lot. So it would be easy to have at least 40 malts and grains in there. Easy. It must, mind-boggling. Let's get into it, shall we? Bottled at 40%, chill filtered, colour added. Of course it is. Here we go. It's sweet. It's fruity. It's slightly briny. And I'm going to suggest it's a Talisker-like brininess. So, Talisker, owned by Diageo, so every chance it's in there. And along with that salinity or brininess, there's a nice fudginess, a nice sweet fudgy note. Do you know, all in all, this is actually a very pleasant nose. That is. For an affordable, inexpensive blend. Bottled at 40%. Keep at this, keep it slightly agitated. Don't be scared to move your glass around. Don't be scared to move the whiskey around. I find this a bit like most blends. If you let it go, if you let it settle, you go for after a while, it tends to go a bit flat. If you keep it agitated, that brininess stays alive. It stays bright. And when you agitate it again, you're rewarded with green apple. Green apple, citrus, and even a hint of custard powder. Do you know what it is? It's a very, very pleasant nose. It's a soft, sweet and sour arrival as expected. Yes, it's a blend. So yes, that very first pass, a bit thin. But go back again and it starts to stick, starts to coat, slightly minty. There's that salty fudgy thing again. There's that sharp citrus and apple again. There's the depth to it, hints of barley sugar. And even even soft stewed fruit, which all draws out, and then comes to this nice chili lime pointed at the end, and it is more so on that lime side of things. Not a lot of heat about it. If there is, it's sort of white pepper, and that goes through into what is a, let's face it, short finish. Something about blends that generally where blends start to fall down for me, and where a blend will stand out in the inexpensive range of blends is in the finish. There'll be this incredibly short finish, and it's just gone. That's something I find with inexpensive blends. And it's no different here. It's no different here. You know, let's get into this. I'm not going to add water. You'll probably find in this series, water will not show up, because at 40%, which most or all of the blends in this series are, they're thin, they're wet enough. So I'm not going to add water here. I did do so during my tasting notes just to find out, and yeah, it just thins too much. Johnnie Walker Black, I've heard people before, I've heard it mentioned before, I hear quite a few people saying it, look, as an entry level, I suppose the reds maybe before this, but as I suppose entry level to the Johnnie Walker brand, it's not bad. It's actually not that bad. Do you know, if you were sitting this, and I'll probably say the same for most of the whiskies in this series, if you're sitting in a bar sipping this with friends, there ain't nothing wrong with it. There definitely ain't. Yes, it's a bit thin. Yes, it's started to go a bit flat already. But, do you know, for what you pay for it, £20-25, if this creeps up under the £30 mark, no, absolutely not. Under £20, well then, yes. In a bar, as I said, you know, buy the dram, as long as it's cheap, yeah, okay. Will I replace it? Look, if it's... Probably not, actually. Probably not. And I can say it again, for most of the drams that are going to be in this series, once the bottles are gone, they'll be gone. I can't see me replacing them. They just take up room in ever-heaving cabinets that can be taken up by good whiskies. That's not to say that this is a bad one. This is an entry-level blend. That's exactly what this is. That's exactly what it does. There, you get what you pay for. There, right, so, you know, as I said, it's an entry-level blend. You get what you paid for. Not that bad, but, you know, it's... if great whiskey's your thing, well then you're not going to buy Johnnie Walker Black anyway, probably. So, but it is exactly what it says it is. It is an entry-level blend. A blend of malt whiskey, of grain whiskey. It's not bad. All right? It's not bad in the scheme of things. So what would I recommend then? Well, do you know, here's how good I am. I'm going to keep the price down. As a matter of fact, I'm going to suggest to you a single malt, which is around the same price as this, if not cheaper sometimes. It has... Yes, a bottle of 40% again. It has the brininess, it has the salinity. It even has a little bit of that smokiness. What is it? Ardmore Legacy. The Ardmore Legacy. Do you know, I still think the Ardmore Legacy, for what it is fantastic. For the price it is. This always, I've never seen this really much more than £20 for Ardmore Legacy. For a single malt. It is single. It is. I had to read that again because I actually thought it said blended out the corner of my eye. And then I would have been highly surprised because it was already sort of knew it was a single malt. You know, for what it is. And you get that. So the reason why I'm suggesting this is, if you're watching this series, watching this review and going, right, Johnnie Walker Black, I do enjoy my Johnnie Walker Black. What would you recommend as something to step up, to get me into the world of single malts? There you go. Ardmore Legacy. It's a very, very good step in the right direction. Johnnie Walker Black, as I said, good, is what it is. It's an entry-level, inexpensive blend. Ardmore Legacy, an entry-level, inexpensive, single malt. And then when you get into Ardmore and you start to find some independent bottlings of Ardmore, you will discover how damn good Ardmore is. When done right, ooh, it's amazing. So there you go. Johnnie Walker Black, an entry-level blend as an entry to this series about blends. That's about all I can say. What am I getting? Very little. That's because sometimes, I'll come back and I'll go, oh, here, I've got something else just at the end of that. Nah, I was kidding myself. As a matter of fact, I think what I'll do is I'll drain this and pour myself a glass of this Ardmore. Still, the nose has come back. The nose has actually come back. And it's a good nose. It's just, that palate tends to fall and become a bit flaccid. It's a bit insipid. It's just, yeah, just all right. So thank you very much for joining me. As always, thank you very, very much to my patrons. Should anybody wish to join that group, the details are in the video description below. And I will also leave a little link up in here just to let you know a little bit more about my patronage. Till the next time, my friends, look after yourselves. Here's to your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.